What's happening, everybody? Ian Walsh here, Hard Money Bankers, joined with my partner Ryan Walsh, Hard Money Bankers, and hope you had a nice weekend. Ryan, what's going on?
Show your shirt a little bit more. Okay, so somebody commented at the last event I was at because our old logo looked like that. They were like,
Our old logo?
Yeah, they're like, that's so see the dash that we've added in.
Oh, I don't even notice that.
Yeah.
Oh,
They're like, yeah, that's the Hurley logo. I was like, oh.
yeah. It definitely looks like it. I don't know if it's the exact one or not. I don't know. They just started throwing these our way, so we started taking them. I have no idea. That it'd be if Hurley decided to sue us, it would be the greatest worth the publicity of marketing.
Yeah.
So I don't think they care.
Call it the Zillow approach.
Yeah. Costs us a lot less though than Zillow's $500 million. So any news over the weekend that came in that was relevant to anything?
Well, relevant to the real estate stock market or real estate market, not that I picked up on. So
yeah, I didn't notice anything either in particular that jumped out. I was keeping an eye on the headlines. It was just more like up and down, back and forth. Little COVID, little inflammation, or little inflation, little supply chain. You know,
just your daily fear.
Yeah, a little Elon Musk, and then that's where we are. So I did see this interesting topic though, because we were talking about this 6 weeks ago, 5 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, and we talk about it frequently in terms of how this domino situation can unfold and like what you could look like into the future. And this would come into your January-ish timeline that you were kind of like feeling the pieces set up. So we have supply chain, we have Evergrande, and we have inflation all lingering right now. And, we said about 4 or 5 weeks ago or whatever it was, we said, well, it makes sense if we just had like a really cold winter. And then you have gas prices going up. So people are going to get frozen in their houses. Like the suffering has to be more, right? We still need more suffering to bring to the to the anger, to get to the anger part of this cycle. So I was like, yeah, so just freeze everybody out. So we said, great, they're going to use HARP and they're just going to, freeze everybody out. And, meanwhile, all the gas prices are hitting highs. And supply chain then is saying, we can't get you gas because we don't have, we have supply chain issues. And then they're going to say, well, even if we get the supply chain issues, you can't afford it because inflation's too high and you can't, afford $400, a gallon of gas. So it was just interesting that those pieces that come into play in January, as I saw this particular news article come up as Europe braces. So this is them watching our show. Europe braces for first cold weather winter blast with gas prices set to spike again. So there it is, the double down.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's when it starts turning anger. I think we're going to start seeing it come Thanksgiving weekend, right? Because you're going to have people that are traveling and they're going to finally be like, what the heck? I just paid $5 a gallon for gas, or maybe even more, because I mean, gas prices go up on major holidays, right? And all of a sudden, it's not going to be funny anymore, right?
Yeah, I think it could start. I mean, I think the annoyingness across the board could start. I mean, I think Biden's already at like all-time low right now with like his approval. So people aren't hiding that part of it. But I do think like the anger could maybe start in, just after the holiday, which also comes into line with the leg down that I was talking about in the market right now. Like it needs to pull back. So like the charts are starting to set up for a pullback. The question again always is going to be, do we wind up pulling back through the balance point here, or do we? Let me see if I can bring up balance point.
Right, and what people say on that is like, whether it's a correction, pullback, whatever. But whenever you're talking about that direction away from the up, now you have a fear of a crash, right? Like if it's going up, if it's going up, everyone's like, go as up as you possibly can, crash up, right? Melt up, right?
Yeah, melt up, right?
But you never have the worry of it going too high, right?
Yeah, sure. So, like there's no fear in too high.
Right. So the only time this conversation comes up is when a pullback or a correction. So, well, I mean, that's what it first is. It starts as a pullback. Now all of a sudden people are going to start dropping the term, oh, it's a correction. And now all of a sudden people are like, well, is it a correction or is it a crash? Right? So
I mean, that's the way any market turn really comes into place. It's like, nobody knows the exact top. Like the timing is impossible. I'm telling you, I know some amazing traders that will tell you the same thing. It's just, you can't time a top and you can't time a bottom. You can say what looks like it, but it's always a hindsight thing. It's always, you place your bet. If it starts to unfold the way that you potentially saw the possibility of it, you look like a genius, like that guy, like the movie The Big Short or whatever, the guy that shorted the housing market. I mean, everybody then built a whole movie trying to make him look like a genius. But the reality is he just said, okay, like if there's a time to place a bet, it's now in the way that this could unfold. He could have easily have been just as wrong. In fact, I know some really large money managers that were wrong on their short in 2012, but you don't hear about them or have a movie about them. They just placed the wrong bet. So that's why trading is, you use small stops, you take small losses relative to your entire bankroll, because even the best players in the world don't know. But what happens is when they, like you just said, so when you're in a situation where, you hit your checkpoints where let's say you were up here and you took a short, you're like, oh, that looks good. And then your next, market moves down and goes to here. You go, oh, and now people are starting to say, are we in a correction? Is this starting to pull back? And then you go down here and you're going, Evergrande just defaulted, and and everybody's looking at this trade up here going, oh, you must be a genius. And really you just took a bet that just unfolded and you managed correctly, stayed in it, and you're looking good. That's all that is. It didn't really mean that you knew what was about to happen, which is the same as the housing market. It's like, we just use comps as our like unfolding. We're like, if this unfolds, this is what the numbers should look like if our bet is correct. Whereas like you get a lot of people that don't have comps and they make a speculative bet, right? And I've had people come back to me, especially in this up market, and they go, they've literally, because I told them originally the comps weren't there to support the value. So they come back, and when they sell it for more, they try to give me the I told you so. And I'm like, that's cool. I'm so glad you made money. I really am. Mm-hmm. But the lesson there isn't that Ian was wrong and you were right. The lesson is that, or the lesson that you really want to try to take out of that, if you can find it, is don't think you're smarter than you are. You're as smart as the market allows you to be. Like, I don't think I'm smarter than I am. I know that I don't know the future prices. Like, I don't have the crystal ball. All I can do is go on what's in front of me, or what has currently happened in the recent past, to tell you what potentially could happen in the recent future, or the near future. But a speculative scenario where you don't have comps, it works until it doesn't. And I've seen, just like the movie The Big Short from 2008, I've seen people that you've never heard of flipping houses anymore, because they were, like, you don't hear about those people that fail. You hear about the people that succeeded. And there's a lot of people.
But we do kind of have the inside scoop as a lender. Like, we do see people fail. And we don't make news about it, right? But we do know it happens, and it happens a lot more than for every success story. There's, I don't know, 10 of ones that aren't.
Well, that we didn't lend to. Yeah. I mean, the majority of the people we lend to, because we underwrite up front, like the ones that for the 1 out of 10 that you're talking about, I think in my head, I'm like, those are the, I might have 10 people put a deal in front of us, and we might do, let's say we do one of them. Well, 5 or 6 of them might get funding somewhere else. And those start to make up the numbers of like, I don't know how you're making money on that, man. Like, I don't, so most of our borrowers do, come out with a profit, the vast majority. But, I look at when you have weaker underwriting or speculative underwriting, like, I don't know where all those other deals go. Like, those deals don't just go, I mean, some of them just die right on the vine, but a lot of them go somewhere else and find funding for somebody else who doesn't underwrite like that. And I don't know. I don't follow up on those.
You know what I think gives us really good insight, though, is when somebody starts shopping a project that has failed, right? That's how so it's not that we lent to them, but it's somebody trying to get refinanced out. They're like, hey, I'm out of money. My current lender's not going to extend. Can you help us out? And we take a look at those numbers and we're just like, whoa.
Yeah. Or you just look at it and go, man, like, there's no room here, and you're in trouble and your lender's in trouble. And that's just, that's just the reality of the situation.
Yeah, it's so funny how it directly correlates to how you trade the market as well. Like, what's your stop loss, that kind of thing. It's all going to be similar mindset. We got a couple comments here from Aaron. He's throwing some piggies out, throwing some piggies.
More piggies? Wait, didn't Knives throw piggies out last time?
Yeah, they're both from. It's like I think it's from Chris's stream channel. I think it's where it's from.
Oh, okay.
And then we got you're gonna like this one, a Charlie Wansedler saying you guys are cute with his stashes.
Oh, Smarley's on.
Smarley's on. So what's up, guys? Thanks for watching.
I love how our show is so not popular that we have 2 viewers, but there has to be at least 3 that should be showing. So we have negative viewership, right? So we have negative viewership. So somebody's vote doesn't even count on the viewership. It's so not popular. That's crazy.
Well, let's see. I mean, the balance point that you have on your chart right there is when the viewership goes up.
Yeah. Well, right. So yeah. Oh gosh, everybody's gonna be tuning in right there.
I mean, it'll start. Mark Weiser will be back when we get to the first.
Mark Weiser will be here. Brian's he's good on the way up and good on the way down. But this is where people will start really tuning in again. Especially, honestly, it'll be really when we get into this mix right here. The like this, all the positions that come off this, because these are like, you have people that have their money in the market, they're fund managers and stuff. Like they've taken, they bought more down here, they bought more here, whatever they did. So this is where it really comes in. But again, the way this pivots off this this mark, I think it's going to want to clear it. Like it's just going to want to clear it. It's not going to be a gentle letdown. It's going to be a clearing move that's going to hit that pretty hard. And the reason is that's just screen time over the years. I've just seen, like, when you have that many significant positions balancing off one mark like that, it just, when it comes back down to do business off of these areas, it tends to hit it with some force.
And
so
timeline wise, that drives us right kind of near the end of December into possible quarter 4 reports starting to come in.
Yeah. The timing works.
Timing could work. And also, now we're also reintroducing the government shutdown coming up in a few weeks, right? So it's like,
oh, I forgot about that little gem. Yeah.
So we might get through November here. Like it looks like it may trickle whatever way, up or down, might trickle. And then
the government shutdown is perfect for the so you need like volatile, like flash type moves to kind of get everybody scared and positions scared. The government shutdown is a good one. That's like you want to queue up like a quick like flashbang in your arsenal. Like that's what you need is like a government shutdown. The government shutdown doesn't necessarily draw out for like months, like supply chain. It's just like, all right, we have 1 week to go, throw the flashbang, get in there and get out, right? So like that's the kind that starts like the whoa, what just happened? Like that's kind of what that does. So I forgot that was on the table. So yeah, we still have government shutdown pending. December 3rd, wasn't that the delay date?
It sounds right. I got to re-up on that and see what kind of information we have. So Aaron has asked for a fantasy football segment next, so I think we should do a fantasy football chart of some sort.
Man, should we do it on like the amount of waivers that I average over the course of a season?
Waivers, trades. We can always do a DraftKings chart. See where that is.
Oh yeah, we should look at draft.
Maybe review a
really
few,
backing off on these promos, and it's driving me nuts.
I know. I'm thinking I might have to get in on them because I think they may be only getting worse if they report another Q4 loss. Aaron wants to review some maybe Henry trades if he's wondering if anybody took any of those.
Look, we have some like armchair fantasy football. So this is so Aaron's an armchair fantasy football player at this point, which is, as a fantasy football player, you're already the armchair. So you're the armchair of the armchair. So, but I did make a terribly awful trade. I have a very legitimate reason for that I can't tell you for about a year and a half. For the time being, I can't tell you how that possibly came to be. But
because in a year and a half, that trade will make sense, right? That's what you're getting at.
Not exactly. It's actually way more. There's way more in depth to it. Actually, he will know in about a year and a half. But I took a fantasy football trade on a guy that was injured. I'm an idiot. I'll just take that. So for this week in the market, though, tomorrow we've got some retail sales, core retail. Interesting thing about core retail and retail sales will actually be what Chris Klug was talking about, which was a lot of promises that couldn't be delivered. I'm actually going to be curious to see if supply chain affects these in terms of actual deliverables on like retail sales tomorrow. Like they might have a bunch of sales, but I don't know if the product has to be delivered or not to be.
What are you talking about? Like Black Friday sales? Like what
retail sales, like any retail sales, like the overall retail sales for the last month.
Look, there's a report coming out. Sorry.
Yeah. Tomorrow's report. Wait, can you not see it on the screen? Yeah, on the screen here. I can't really. I see.
No, I can't really read it.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, that works.
Nice. So core retail tomorrow, retail sales. So those would be interesting because I don't know if they're based on actual deliverables or not. Like I don't know if it's just like reported sales or not. We'll know by the news flashes tomorrow. But actually, that looks like the only real movers this week in the American U.S. markets. So, yeah, tomorrow. I don't know. I don't really know. I don't know if that's a surprise to people or not, but we'll find out tomorrow.
Yeah, I guess it depends what they're reporting.
Yeah.
So, all
right. Good enough. We will. Aaron calling me out on it. Gosh, Brevin, you think he's not paying attention to the WhatsApp? He doesn't say anything. All right. Sounds good.
All right. See you tomorrow.